Can we learn to trust the impersonal and see that the impersonal is in fact who we truly are? I've been talking a lot about stepping back. It's been happening for the last couple of months or so. And I've done some writings about this, and what I wanted to do was record a bit of a video about stepping back and trusting, but trusting more the impersonal, that which is in the background from which all our life is emanating from, that place prior to mind, where everything is happening. And as we step back and we take this story, this so-called story that's happening to us, and we see the impermanence of it as well as the impermanence of the character, what we find is the story loses meaning and it loses value. We find then ourselves backing off and allowing life to take over, in a sense that let go and let God. What then occurs when that happens is that we live from a place of flow, we live from a place of authenticity, and we live from a place that we know as home. In that home, there's no idea of like life, death, birth, pain, suffering, bliss. There is just this equanimity that exists. And what I've found over the last couple of months is, as I've started trusting this more and really just getting out the way, that the impersonal, that which is in the background, has come more into the foreground. And that which is in the foreground, its transparency, its porousness, and the fact that it really isn't real is being seen, and it's just being, in a sense, cast off, or really just being used as a tool. And it's a theme that's been going on in the last couple of videos about how there is this de-emphasis of this character called Zahir Khan. There is just this character that is speaking about self-realization, but is there any substance or weight to this character? And the simple answer is no. It's just a collection of thoughts, feelings and emotions that have become this character called Zahir Khan. And Zahir Khan lives a certain life, talks about a certain thing, but that which animates Zahir Khan, that through which Zahir Khan, is working through Zahir Khan, is actually what is. And yet it's not separate from this character, but there is this de-emphasis of the character going on, and really more of an emphasis of that which actually is, which plays quietly in the background of our lives, of our so-called lives, until there's that moment where something goes wrong and we start questioning the narrative that we've been given of grow up, get a job, get married, settle down, grow old, and that's it. And it can be caused by any number of things, from relationship breakups to losses in business, to just a general agitation that something's not quite right. And then the idea of seeking starts. And really what I would say is seeking in this instance is really the background coming into the foreground and starting to show us that our five-sense existence isn't all there actually is. When that starts occurring, we start seeing really the emptiness of our story, and also a freedom in our story, in the sense that the story can be rewritten however it wishes to be written. And we find that we're not a slave to our class, nation, conditioning, or what have you. What's interesting then is there is just this real trusting in that which is appearing from the background, and there's a recognition as well that this is home, this is who I truly am. And in that recognition, as I said, there's trusting. And we find that we're not really living this thing called life, that the character isn't actually real. And the best way to live life is to just simply step back and just go with the flow, so to speak. And that brings with it a lot of freedom and a real relaxation, as we find that a lot of what we thought we had to do, we don't have to do. So we fall into almost, in a sense, a natural meditation, only to realize that there is only this natural meditation. And in that sense, these awakenings and liberations that we point to are simply non-events. They're simply the background coming into the foreground, and ourselves seeing that the background, the so-called impersonal, is in fact the personal, because it is actually who we are. And that which we've seen as the personal is in fact impersonal. It is simply a story that is being lived through, and also isn't consequently separate from this thing called life. and that actually who we truly are is life. And actually it's okay and it's safe to be in this space and to live from this space. If anything, when we're in this idea of separation and this so-called separate individual, we're placing ourselves in a very dangerous situation, because we aren't living openly, we're not living freely or as we actually truly are. And in that sense, we limit ourselves. And then wonder why there is this agitation. So if the agitation is just dropped and there's just an acceptance of this moment, which isn't something that this so-called personal story can actually do, but the impersonal gives itself permission to be as it wishes to, because it's doing whatever it wishes to do. We find that there is, as I said earlier, an equanimity in life, just a relaxation, a real trusting in what actually is. And this trusting in this so-called impersonal is who we truly are. And we then recognize that the impersonal is in fact the personal, and it is who we truly are.